All right, how's it going? So it's been a while since I made one of these videos, kind of making the transition from our office to our, new permanent work from home offices for the foreseeable future, and just kind of like trying to get everything organized and get set up to work efficiently. Took a little time, and the topic is a little dated. What I want to talk about today is a quote from Trump. And this isn't really about Trump or anything political, in as much as it is a representation of how the upper echelons of government sort of view what is happening on the ground in relation to the food and beverage industry. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of sad. And shows that we have some work cut out in order to communicate how to effectively address the needs of the food and beverage industry. All right, so start with the quote. So he said in an interview, I've heard 3% could be lost. This is in relation to restaurants. 3% could be lost, and you could go as high as 10 or 11%. But they'll all come back in one form or another. Might be a different restaurant, but it's going to be a great business for a lot of people. We are making it easy for people. Look, what we're doing in terms of loans, what we're doing in terms of salaries, they'll all come back. It may not be the same restaurant. It may not be the same ownership, but they'll all be back. All right. Sorry, trying not to laugh. That's crazy. So, all right. So that's the quote. Let's break it down. Okay. First of all, the National Restaurant Association, which gave him that information, they were not saying that 3% might close, possibly up to 11. 3% have already closed for good, and of those they had spoken with, within 30 days, 11% planned on closing for good. So like that's sort of the minimum number, all right? After those 30 days, guaranteed, as restaurants are restricted on their capacities, more and more will choose this. They'll choose to go out of business. It just won't be a viable model. So I expect that number to be way over 11%. And it's not the chains that are going to close, it's the independent restaurants. Popeyes isn't going out of business. Now think about that in relation to New York City. New York City, 87% of restaurants are independent versus nationally 50%. So you're looking at maybe 11 to 15% of restaurants closing in a city that is majority are independent. That affects a lot of people. And I don't know, in our area, think of like your average restaurant size, it's probably around 20 to 30 employees. That's going to be a lot of jobs lost. So that's number one. All right, number two. What was the second point? Yeah, it's going to be a great business for a lot of people. I mean, listen. First of all, that's patently not true. Restaurants are like sports. It's a great business for very few people. The majority will toil for a long time, maybe make a living, come out with some injuries, some bruises, and but it's a job. It's a career. Very few actually make a lot of money. In general, it's an industry with very small margins. So you have to have many locations before you're actually making a lot of money. So, I think obviously he and the government does not, they really, even though they say they may, I don't think they understand the industry. It's a tough industry, but culturally it's so important. So, it is worth saving. And I think these problems are worth addressing. What's the next? The loans. Yeah, doing great things with the loans. Okay, so the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce spoke to business owners that are members. 84% had received no funds. So I don't know how those loans are so great. Maybe they're great for the Lakers and for Shake Shack, For majority of people, not so great. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4. Oh yeah, the one true thing he said is that most restaurants won't have the same owner, or that some restaurants won't have the same owner. This is very true. But coming from a government that has given incredible tax breaks to large corporations, and as well, the majority of all of the funds given out as stimulus for COVID are going to the large corporations. To kind of flippantly say like, yeah, they'll just be new owners. I mean, it makes me angry. It really, it's crazy. And there have been S&P 500 companies have made record profits for the last 10 years, and they're getting the majority of the trillions of dollars in this stimulus package. It's kind of like they're like the new welfare kings, right? It's like every 10 years, they're just going to get trillions of dollars injected so they can never go out of business. I understand they employ a lot of people, they have lobbyists, and have a lot of sway. But to make that kind of statement, I think is it's kind of insulting. Yeah, so whoever watches this, I don't know, reach out to local representatives. Let's try and get this, complain loud enough and often enough, and maybe they'll make changes. I know there have been like some address, they gave more money to the PPP, but still that's not enough. And we need to see some real change, and stimulus needs to get down to the people that need it. Okay, so that's it, and yeah, hope you enjoyed. All right, till next time.